Good evening, everyone. Am I audible to all? Is there any kind of issue with my voice? Just let me know.
No, ma'am.
Okay, all right. What did we study in the previous class? What was the topic that nobody remember? What did we study in the previous class? Come on.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Last. Hello. Am I audible?
Yeah, Junaid, you're audible.
In
Hello.
previous class, yes, ma'am. Previous class we have studied uh, to create some folders about product
Not
and perform
exactly.
some operations to perform CRUD operations.
No, Junaid, you were present when I was teaching you CRUD operations. We have already passed a lot of concepts that we have learned in the previous classes. Who can tell me?
Uh,
All right. So I guess none of you remember. So you people are, should be ready to face the consequences of not being responsive or not being attentive in the class during your evaluation. All right. In this month, you people are having your evaluation. So be ready to face all these things, taking the classes lightly and not knowing whatever did we study in the previous classes. So just be ready. And at that time, if you are going to score less marks, you people do not have any kind of right in order to ask me why did we score these less marks. All right, because you people are not attentive inside the class. Okay, all right. So for today's class, what are we going to study? We are going to study about the WebSocket APIs. Now, what do we mean by the WebSocket API? As we have already discussed in our very introduction class, that there are different kind of APIs. First, we have studied about the REST APIs. How do the REST API work? So, the REST API take the HTTP requests, and with the help of the HTTP requests, we perform certain CRUD operations in the REST API. All right, that is those API take the get, post, put, delete kind of requests. Now, what are we going to study? We are going to study about the WebSocket APIs. These WebSocket APIs help us to write the logic. The logic for what? In order to get the real-time data from a particular website. I might have provided you people an instance of the cricket match. All right. So whenever we people watch cricket matches, at that time we see live scores in a particular website, isn't it? So over there, whenever the player hits a sixer, at that time the data changes instantly. It doesn't happen like now someone has scored the four or sixer and the data in the app gets updated after 1 hour. It does not happen like that. Or we can also take an example of a live chat app, isn't it? So whenever a particular user sends a particular message in a group, at that time, once the user sends the message, then at that time only the message gets broadcasted in the group instantly without making any delay, until and unless you people are connected with your net with your data or wi-fi anything. So the prior thing over there is your data connection. That's how the WebSocket API work in order to provide the real-time data. Now we are going to see what kind of dependencies that we have to install in our backend and front end so that we can implement the WebSocket APIs. All right. So I will share my screen, and what you people have to do is just you people know very well to install different kind of dependencies in your backend and front end folder, right? So here is the package.json, inside which the dependencies are listed. In order to work with the WebSocket APIs, we need to install socket.io, And in the front end file, we need to install our socket.io client. All right, see over here, we have installed socket.io client. So these two dependencies are really very necessary whenever we are working with the WebSockets. Now, in the controller, we write the exact logic that we have to work. Okay, so in today's class, in order to implement the WebSocket API, what are we going to do? We are implementing one feature. What is that feature? That a client who is trying to access your website, he can raise a ticket. Ticket as in, if he has any kind of problem, at that time he can provide his problem over there, and he can send his ticket from the client side to the user side, and the user will be receiving the ticket in a real time. So how to do that? At first, what I will do, I will provide a variable, that is const create ticket. And to this variable, I will assign an asynchronous arrow function, which we were doing previously. So here is my asynchronous arrow function, async, which is going to take a couple of parameters, that is request as well as response. And inside that, what I will do, I will create two more variables, that is const ticket as well as description of the issue that you people are facing. So these two things will be provided by the user as a request to the server. All right. And after that, what will happen? How to take the request from the user? With the help of request.body. All right. We have done till this part. Now, what will I do? I will initialize a try catch block. Inside the try block, say for example, your friend is trying to send you a message. All right. And then you people are getting that message from your friend in WhatsApp. Along with the text that your friend is trying to send you, what else do you receive? You receive the timestamp, isn't it? At what date and at what time your friend is trying to send you the message. Along with that, if you try to send some kind of message to your friend as a response, and at that time, along with the message that you want to send to your friend, what else do you receive? You receive the double tick, which indicates what? Whether your friend has received the message. That is nothing but an acknowledgement, right? That you have sent a request and you are getting an acknowledgement back that yes, your friend has received your message, and you have to wait for a while, that so that your friend is able to see your message, isn't it? That's what the blue tick means. Or this can also happen that you and your friend are online in a single time interval, and your friend sees your message instantly. So that is how there is not only single element that you are passing to each other, but there are multiple things that are being shared between you and your friend. So how to do that? For that, in order to implement it, we'll provide const new ticket is equal to, here I will create an object. Object will contain what all things does the new ticket will have. The new ticket will have the ID. So ID, I have to make it unique. All right. Why do I have to make a unique ID? So that every single ticket the client is trying to create is going to be different from the previous ticket, isn't it? So how can I do that? We have seen in the MongoDB, what did we do? We were seeing the object ID, isn't it? And each and every object ID was different from different from each other, which was useful in order to make each and every data unique. So for that, what will I do? I will use date dot now method. So that what will happen? The ID will be storing the date dot now, which means it will take the time as well as date. Time as in hour, minutes, and seconds. This is how we will make each and every ticket unique from each other. After that, the ticket will have title. And after the title, it will also have description. And after the description, the initial value of the ticket means the initial status of the ticket. What is the status? The status of the ticket is open initially. All right. And once if the admin successfully answers to your query, which means if the admin resolves your query, at that time we will update the status to closed. But as of now, your ticket is open by default. And after that, we are also going to provide the timestamp, as like we provide in WhatsApp. At what time did you receive the message? So for that, I will store the timestamp inside the created at key. So all these things which are listed in the left side are keys, and all the things which are listed in the right side are values. This is why this entire thing is an object. So here I will provide new and then date. All right. So these all data the ticket will be carrying with itself. And after that, what will happen? After creating the ticket, we will write request dot io dot. Here I will provide the emit method. And inside the emit method, I will provide new ticket. And then this variable will be having the new ticket object. All the values which we have provided. Now you might be thinking, what is the purpose of using the emit method? So as you people can see what I have written request.io.emit. So this IO is nothing but the input output object of the socket IO dependency that we have created in the socket.io dependency that we have installed. Now, why do we use this emit method? This emit method, you can say it as a speaker. What does it do? The work of this emit method is to send broadcast messages. All right. So if one sender is trying to send a particular message to every other receivers, at that time we use the emit method in order to broadcast the messages. All right. And this is how we use the emit method. So this contains two parameters. First one is the event name, that is the new ticket. What is the name of the event? That is a new ticket. And after that, we send the data, whichever data we want to send. So these two parameters are present inside the ticket. So this is how the emit method works. And after the emit method, what do? We just have to provide a response back to the client. So at that time, what do? We just have to provide a response.status code. Okay, so can anyone tell me what is success status? In the previous class, we have learned it. What is the success status code? If the request is successful, what kind of status code do we get?
And 201.
Great. The status code that we receive when a successful request is 201. And how to write that?
Response dot status.
Great. So here I will write, not exactly here, yeah, after the request. Here I will provide response dot status 201. And after that, in a JSON format, I will also send a message. That is dot JSON. And over here, I will provide a message. And this message will say ticket created. And after that, I will send the data. What will be the data? This data is actually a variable. And inside this variable, we will send new ticket as the data. All right. So whenever the client from the client side will try to raise a ticket, then a ticket will get created. And after the successful creation, the client will receive a message from the server that the ticket is created. Along with that, he will get all the data regarding the ticket. Am I clear till this part?
Yes, ma'am.
And if any error occurs at that time, then we will get console.error. And inside this, we are going to get what exact error is being caused. And after that, we will send a response of 500 response.status 500, which will provide us the error message in a JSON format. this will say error in creating a ticket. What is the last thing that we have to do? Can anyone tell me?
Export the create ticket.
Exactly. We need to export the create ticket function. So how to export it when we are using the common JS? How to export the function?
Module dot export.
Great. We have to write module dot exports is equal to the name of the function, that is create ticket. Save it. All right. Now what I will do, I will create routes in order to access this particular controller that I have created. So for that, what all things do I need to import? Tell me, in order to create a route.
Ticket
Import
control.
express one.
Okay, we need to import express is equal to require express. And then what else do I have to import?
Ticket controller.
Controller file.
Great. So for that, I will write const here the name of the function, that is create ticket. And then I have to mention the name of the file with the help of require. Then the file path from the controllers, take the ticket controller. And then what I will do, I will create a variable router. And then I will write express dot router. So what I have done, I have assigned the router middleware of express to the router variable. And after that, what I will do with the help of router dot, which method do I have to use? Can anyone tell me? If I am applying a ticket, which method am I likely to use?
Post method for creating.
Great. We have to use the post method. And what is the first parameter? What should be?
A slash.
What do we call it? That is nothing but our API endpoint. So the API endpoint that I will assign it is create. And after that, I have to provide the name of the method that I have to access with the help of this particular endpoint. And finally, I have to export the router. So for that, I will write module.exports is equal to router. That's it. Save it now. Here comes the server.js. So you people remember, right? We have written something that is request.io.emit. So from where is this IO coming? It should be a question, right? Where is this IO coming from? It is coming from our server.js file. Now, what will we store inside the IO variable? We have to configure how our real-time API should be configured. Okay. What all things do we add inside the IO? So for that, what do we have to do? Inside the server.js, I will first import the express is equal to require express. And after that, I will also import HTTP. HTTP. And then I will also import server. And inside this server, I will store the socket.io that I have installed. And after that, what will I do? I will also import course. Now the question arises, what do I actually mean by the course? And why didn't we use it in our previous lectures, right? So today, what we will do, we will integrate our backend to the front end. All right. So whenever you are integrating your backend to the front end, at that time, my backend, I will run the backend on port 5000. Okay. And Can anyone tell me the port number, the default port number on which the React apps run? We have done it in the previous class also.
5173.
Great. So the port number for React is 5173 and the port number for backend is 5000. Now what is happening? We are sending a request from 5173 to the port number 5000. At that time, what happens? There lies something that is known as CORS. The CORS stands for Cross Origin Resource Sharing. Okay, what is happening? The resources are being shared from one port number to another port number. All right. So, in order to allow the requests which are coming from 5173 to 5000, we require the CORS. And if we do not use the CORS, then we will not be able to send the requests from port number 5173 to the backend port, that is 5000. Understood? Why do we require the CORS? Any kind of doubt? Okay, all right. So I guess you people do not have any kind of doubt as of now. After importing the CORS, I will finally import the routes that I have just written. So here I will provide ticket routes. So here I will take the file name that is from the routes, import ticket routes. All right. So here what I will do, I will create a variable app and then I will provide assign express to it. And now what we are actually doing, we are actually creating a real-time server, isn't it? So what will I do? In order to create a real-time server, I will first declare a variable that is server. And then with the help of http dot create server, I have to provide app inside it. That is, we are using Express in order to create a WebSocket server. Am I clear till this part? Any kind of doubt?
No, ma'am.
All right. Now what do I have to do? I have to set up my socket.io with the CORS. And how to set it up? I just have to write const. Now see, this time I'm declaring the IO variable. And inside this, I will write new server. And after that, I will provide the previous server as the parameter, as the first parameter. And in the next parameter, I will provide CORS. And here I'll be declaring the CORS in order to send the data. It will take origin. And in this origin, we have to end. Then the port number 5173. So this is our front end URL, which means what? The backend, that is the backend server. Which kind of server? Socket.websocket server in the backend will receive every single request from the front end, which is having the origin 5173 as the port number. Understood? And then what kind of method is it going to use? It will be using the get and post method. So for that, I will write get as well as post. So this is how we configure our socket.io with the CORS. And after that, what we are going to do, we will be using app.use. Here we will write CORS. And then we will use app.use express.json. And then what I will do, I will write app.use. Inside this, I will pass an arrow function which will take request, response as well as next. And in the previous class, I have already told you people about the next middleware, right? How it helps in order to chain different middlewares together. So the control passes from one middleware to another middleware. And what will the function do? It will take request.io is equal to io. And then it will pass the control to the next middleware. And then what is the next thing that we have to do? I have to provide the routes. What kind of routes? So that I can access the controller which I have written inside the ticket controller.js, whichever function. I have stored it inside the routes. So creating which, with the help of which API endpoint? With the help of create endpoint. I'll be able to access the create ticket function. So in order to take this endpoint inside the server.js, I need one more endpoint. So for that, I will write app.use. Here I will take API and then I will provide the endpoint tickets. All right. And with the help of these endpoints, I am going to access my ticket routes. Okay. Right. And after that, here I will establish the connection of the socket. Now, how to establish the connection of the socket? With the help of on method. Now you will ask me, ma'am, why are we actually using the on method? So previously what we were using? We were using the emit method, which was what? A speaker, right? Emit will say whichever data we have to send to our clients, to broadcast all those messages to our respective clients. Now, this time the on method, what is it exactly doing? The on method will wait for a event to happen. Say for example, connecting your mobile to the internet. That, what do we call it? We call it establishing a connection, right? So what will happen if the user is connecting to a particular website? So for that we are using the on function. So this on function waits for an event to happen, and after that event successfully occurs, this on method tries to execute a particular function. Am I clear? What does the on method do? Do you want me to explain it again?
Yes, ma'am.
See, inside the on method, what is the first thing that we will pass? We will pass the event name. What is the name of the event? The name of the event is connection. All right. So when the connection will be established, then what will happen? Then an arrow function will get executed. And this arrow function will take socket as the parameter. So you people can see from the parameters only that this is an event. All right. And this is a function. So we can assume what is actually happening over here, which means if we are using the on function, when the successful connection will get established, then whichever thing we will write inside this particular arrow function will get executed. So what I will do over here, after the successful connection, we will get in our console. What we will get in our console? We will get a message. Which kind of message we will get? We will get user connected. All right. And after the successful connection, how will we be able to know which user got connected? For that, every single user who is trying to make a connection will get his own unique user ID. All right. So how to access that user ID? With the help of socket.id method. So whenever we will run our front end, at that time, after successfully running our front end, we will get, whenever we will run the back end, we will get in our console that this particular user with the socket ID is connected. All right. And after that, what will happen? If the user will disconnect itself. So for that, I will provide socket.on, and then the first. Okay. And when the disconnect event will take place, at that time, one more arrow function will get executed. And this time, the arrow function will log in our console. What will it log? Similarly, the thing that which has logged the similar thing which it has provided in our console, that user connected when the user was trying to connect, and when the user will try to disconnect itself, it will provide us in the console that user is disconnected, and then it will provide the socket ID. That's it. All right. So when the user will connect itself to the server, then we are going to get a message that user connected along with the ID of the user. And when the user will disconnect itself, say the user, whenever he is accessing your website, suddenly the current got off, right? The electricity the electricity was switched off in his area. At that time, what will happen? The disconnection will take place. That is, he is no more connected to the internet. At that time, this message will be printed in your console that the user got disconnected. And after this, after successfully establishing the connection, we will do our same thing. That is, we will define the port number of our backend is equal to 5000. And then which method do we have to write at the very last?
App.listen.
Great. We have to write app.listen. What is the first parameter I have to pass?
The port number.
Great. And after that, in the arrow function, I will provide in the console that server is running on HTTP localhost. Provide the port number over here. That's it. This is how we are going to provide the entire. So instead of app.listen, since we are using the WebSocket, we have to write server.listen. All right. Because that is why we have configured our server over here, right? This entire create server. What is it doing? It is creating a WebSocket server. That is why we are writing server.listen. Now save this entire server.js. Now, what we will do, we have successfully created the backend logic. We have to now move to the front end. That is, inside the front end, I have told you people to install the Socket.io client. See, Socket.io client. Inside the ticket feed.jsx, which is present inside the components folder. What do I have to do? I have to import the Socket.io client. Why do I have to import the Socket.io client? In order to connect my front end with the back end, right? So here, what I will do, I will write import. First, I will take what? I will take React as well as the use state and then use effect hooks. From where? From the React library itself. So those who do not understand what are the use state and previous lecture, that is the yesterday lecture which I have provided to you people. All right. Then only you will be able to understand how exactly does the use state and use effect hook work. And then I will also import IO from Socket IO client. So these two things we have to import. Now what will I do? I have to connect my front end with the back end. So this time I will declare a variable that is const socket is equal to IO dot connect method. Should be const socket is equal to IO dot connect. Inside the connect method, I just have to provide my backend URL, that is HTTP localhost and the port number is 5000. So from to this server, we have to send the data. Now what will I do? I will create a function that is const ticket feed. This one will be carrying an arrow function, this variable, all right. And now, can anyone tell me when I will use the use state hook at that time, what exactly do I have to write in that line? How to begin writing that? What is the syntax of using a use state hook?
Const variable name and their function equals to use state.
Okay. So here I will provide the variable name as tickets, and then I will provide the function name as set tickets. Alright. And then what will I do? I will use the use state hook which I have imported, and I will initialize the tickets variable with an empty array. What does this mean? As of now, the ticket variable is storing an empty array inside it. Alright, which means for sure, whenever we will be providing any kind of function, then we are going to populate this array with different elements. That is why for now, in the beginning, we are storing an empty array inside the tickets variable. Alright. Now, what I will do, I will use the use effect hook. And inside the use effect hook, I will provide an arrow function. And inside the arrow function, what will I do? I will provide socket dot on. And inside, I have just now provided the syntax of the on method. So what will be the first parameter inside the on method? Can anyone tell me what should be the first parameter? I have just said. Yes, come on, I have just said how does the on method looks like and what all things does it contain? It contains a couple of parameters, right?
First one is value, second one is arrow function.
First one is the event name, and second one is the function which will execute when that particular event will happen. All right. So now what event I will do, I will name over here, I will name an event whose name is new ticket, which means what? Whenever a user will try to create a new ticket, then I want a function to take place. So here I will name the event as new ticket. And then I will execute an arrow function. And this arrow function will take data as the parameter. And this arrow function, at first what it will do, it will log in the console. What it will log? A message that new ticket received. And then it will provide the data of the ticket. And after that, as I have said, with the help of set tickets function, what will I do? I will populate the array. And in the previous class, how did we populate the array? Can anyone tell me? We used a particular operator.
Ternary operator.
Not exactly the ternary operator. We used 3 dots. Does anyone remember? Okay, go and great. That is the that spread operator. So we use that in order to populate the array which we have stored inside the tickets variable. Alright. So inside the set tickets function, we will provide an arrow function. What we will do over here, we will write prev tickets and we will pass it as a parameter inside the arrow function. And what it will do, it will take data, and then with the help of spread operator, we will take prev tickets. So this is how we are going to populate our our array which is present inside the ticket variable with all the data which we are receiving from the backend. And after that, what will happen? After successfully retrieving all the data from the backend, we will return an arrow function. And this time, the arrow function, what it will do? It will get disconnected. Alright. So how to disconnect it? With the help of socket.off method. And then which event shall it get disconnected? With the event new ticket. Socket.on means connect to an event. Socket.off means disconnect an event. All right. And finally, what I will do, I will pass an empty array over here. Why am I passing an empty array? Can anyone tell me? We have discussed it in previous class.
It's render at least one time.
Okay, it makes sure that the use effect runs at least for one time, at least for once. Alright. Now what I will do, I will again write an arrow function. Over here, I will write const create test ticket is equal to again an asynchronous arrow function. Yeah, there will be no parameters, and after that what I will do, I will use await, and then I am going to use the fetch method. With the help of the fetch method, I am going to take or I am going to access the endpoint. Which endpoint? The create endpoint, which I have mentioned in my backend. Why did I create the, or you can say, why did I write the create endpoint for what purpose? In order to do what? What I have created? Why did I create that endpoint? Look at the backend controller and tell me what is this exactly doing? What this entire create ticket is doing? Tell me what is this entire function doing? Why did we write the function for? Yes, by seeing the name of the function, you can tell me what is this function doing.
Create a new ticket.
It is creating a new ticket, right? And I am accessing this entire function create ticket with the help of which endpoint?
Slash create.
Create endpoint, right? So this create endpoint is used in order to create a single ticket. That's what we are trying to do in the front end. Inside the fetch method, I will write http localhost and the backend port number is
5,000.
5000, and then seeing the server.js, tell me what do I have to write after that?
API/tickets.
Okay, I have to write API slash tickets, and after that what do I have to write? Tell me what do I have to write?
Let's create now.
Great. We have to write slash create. Okay, it is tickets. Okay, tickets. All right. So this is my backend URL, which I have to pass as the first parameter. So if I have passed as the second parameter, then what do I have to pass as the second parameter? Over here, I have to pass an object which will contain the method. Which method did we use in order to access this endpoint in the router? Which method are we using?
Post method.
Post method, right? So here for the method, we are going to write post. And then we will provide headers. While I was teaching you JWT, I have mentioned something about headers. Does anyone remember?
The content type.
Great. The headers contain the content type. So here, what content are we sending and receiving the data? In which type?
JSON format.
Great. We are sending and receiving the data in a JSON content type. So here I will write content type. And this one is going to be application or JSON. All right. And after the headers, what else do we have to write? We have to write body. Since we are sending the request with the help of body only. Now I will write JSON dot, I will write stringify. Can anyone tell me why is the stringify method used?
And to convert JSON to a string method.
In order to convert JSON into an object type. So here the object will contain title. Title will be new ticket. And then what all things do we have to send in the body as a request being a client? You can see over here title as well as the description, isn't it? We will go back and then we will set the data. See, these things are the hard coded values that I am providing. But the user can send any title, any description. I'm just writing all these things in order to make you understand. Created via button. So in order to create a ticket, what we will need? We need a button. All right, now we are done with this entire function. Now, tell me, where do I place the HTML contents? Like the HTML elements, where do we have to place them? Inside which method?
So inside the return,
Great, we have to put the HTML elements inside the return method. So starting with the div tag. So this div tag, I will provide a styling. Styling of, this will have padding. And the padding will be of 20 pixel from all sides. Inside the div tag, I will provide a header. And this header will say live support ticket. And after the header, I will provide a button. Button to do what? Button to do what? Tell
On
me,
click function.
why are we going to create, what function the button will perform? Just now I have said we will require the button to do what?
to send the ticket information.
Yeah, we need the button in order to create a ticket. Guys, can't you people see the description I have written over here? Created via button. So if I am writing a button over here, which means that means what? I am actually trying to create a ticket with the help of this button. At least if you people don't even listen, then you people can at least see in the screen and answer me. This is the least thing that I can expect from your side. What kind of event does the button take? Just now someone has answered me. What is the event does the button take? What is the event associated to the button?
On click function.
On click. To the on click event, which function that I have mentioned above I have to assign. Like when the user will press the button, what function should get executed?
Then create test ticket.
Great. Create test ticket. And inside this button, I have to write create ticket. So whenever the user will press on this button, this function will execute it, create test ticket, then it will take the method post. After that, it will take the headers, and then it will take whichever data we are sending, that is new ticket and created via button. And then it will send all these data to where? To the backend URL having these API endpoints, that is API ticket create. Is it clear till this part?
Yes, ma'am.
How many of you have any kind of doubt till this part? All right.
No, ma'am.
So, so now we have successfully created the button. Now what I will do, I will create a div tag again. I will provide div, and inside this div, I will provide again some styling, and inside the style, I will provide display, not the direction. I will provide display, and the display I will set as flex. And after the display, I will provide flex direction, and this flex direction will have row. And then I will provide a certain gap between different boxes, a gap of 10 pixel. And then, since tickets is an array, right? This ticket is nothing but an array which is containing all the tickets that the user is containing. So what do I have to do? At first I have to check tickets dot length. So in the previous class also we have seen that tickets dot length provides us the exact number of elements which are stored inside the array. Now we are going to check a condition. If the ticket is empty, how to check if the ticket array is empty? Can anyone tell me? How to check if the
Equal
ticket
equal
array is
to
empty?
equal to
Okay.
0.
All right. So we are going to check if the ticket is empty. Then if the length of the ticket is 0, then we are going to place a ternary operator over here. And after the ternary operator, I will be writing two statements. What is going to be the first statement? First statement is going to be a paragraph tag. And if the ticket is empty, then what will happen? Inside a paragraph tag, I will write a message. What message? That is no new tickets is there to show. All right. And what if the length of the ticket is not 0? At that time, what will happen? At that time, I will provide tickets dot map. I will iterate through each and every element which is present inside the ticket array. And inside the map method, I will take ticket as the iterating element to the arrow function. And inside the arrow function, I will create div tag, which means for every single element, I'm creating a div tag, providing it some styling so that it can appear in that style in the screen. So here I will provide the key, and the key is going to be ticket dot id. So each ticket is going to have this same div tag. Means for ticket A, we will have a div tag. Ticket B will have one more div tag. For ticket C, we'll have one more div tag. Likewise.
Ma'am, you missed the return function.
What?
You have missed the return function inside the map.
Missed what?
You missed the return one inside the map function.
No, I will do that. Just hold on for a while.
Okay.
So here I will provide the style, and this style will have certain border, like there will be a border of say 3 pixel. 3 pixel solid white. Okay. And after that, I will provide padding to it. Again, I will provide the padding of 20 pixel. And then I will provide the border radius. Not the border block, I will provide border radius. And this time I will set the border radius to 5 pixel. Yeah. So each ticket will have what? It will have the title as well as the description, isn't it? So here the title will be shown inside the H3 tag. So here I will provide ticket dot title, and then I will provide the description inside a paragraph tag. Here I will write ticket dot description, and then what will I do? I will provide the date and time when the ticket is being created. So here I will use the small tag. So this inside this small tag I will provide new, and then I will provide date, and inside the date I will take ticket dot created at. So where am I getting this created at from? I am getting it from the backend, and then I will use to local date string. What it will do? It will convert this entire created at value to um, the desired way that we see in our different kind of messages, that is proper date and with proper time in their required format. So now we have created the required thing that we are going to see in our entire web page. So finally what we have to do, we have to export this default ticket feed. So here I have to write export default, what is the name, ticket feed. That's it. Now save it. Now, if we have exported it, we have to import it inside the app.jsx. So inside the app.jsx, I have already imported the ticket feed. All right. We just have to save that. So the backend as well as the front end, both of them are ready. So now the thing that we have just to do is go to the terminal. Okay, or else we can also open them in an integrated terminal. Yeah, we have opened it. Split the terminal into two. This side I will take the backend, and this side will be for the front end. Here I will write and here I write, okay, what is it saying? This one is correct. And after that, course is all response is also there. Accessing the endpoint is also there. Connection is also there. Providing the ID, port number. Alright, this entire thing is there. Set the ticket routes. All of title and description is there. Front end should be work fine. All right, we go through the code once and check if there is any kind of doubt, and if there is any doubt, then you people can let me know.